Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, January 20th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Merton, and I'll be taking you guys through the latest in the world of mixed martial arts. I already got Kenshiro Ryodoju saying, "Good morning, Adam." Good morning, buddy. Had some internet issues, so I was trying to get on like 10 minutes ago, but I'm here now, so good stuff. All right, so obviously you guys know what I'm going to talk about today. UFC 246, and Ryodoju, if you have any questions, man, shoot them in. I'll try to answer them as always. So let's start with UFC 246 main event, work our way down as we usually do. Main event of the evening, Conor McGregor defeats Donald Cerrone via first round knockout in 40 seconds. Very, very impressive performance here. No surprise. I thought Conor was probably one of the most likely winners on this whole card. I just really like this. Ever since they announced this matchup, I just really, really like this matchup for Conor. Just to me, it was the perfect fight for him to get back on track with. I respect Donald Cerrone. He does have the most wins in UFC history. And that's the thing, I actually had a friend of mine, he's kind of like a casual fan. He messaged me. He's like, they found this bum to fight McGregor. And I'm like, Cerrone's not a bum, dude. Like, he's literally like the most winning fighter in UFC history. Having said that, he is at the tail end of his career, I think. A lot of damage in his career, Cerrone's career, 3 straight TKOs. But I'll get to him in a second. As far as Conor goes, this is the win he needed after a 14-month layoff, after not having won since November 2016 against Eddie Alvarez. He needed this win. He looked really good in this fight, guys. As you all know, those shoulder strikes were really nasty. They busted up Cerrone's nose and his face, and then, of course, the head kick they landed that hurt Cerrone bad, and then the punches on the ground. I do think Cerrone wanted out of the fight. I think it's pretty clear he didn't want to keep going, but at the same time, he did get definitely rocked with that head kick. I'm not saying he took a dive by any means. I think some people are suggesting that Cerrone was paid off for him to lose. I don't think that's the case here. I just think once he got hit in the head, he just really didn't want to keep going. And he's like, you know what, I might as well just kind of turtle up here and get the loss. Because I think at that point, he just believed that he wasn't going to win. I don't think he dove or anything. I don't think he was paid off by Dana to lose. So anyone who's suggesting that is wrong. Having said that, I do think he didn't want to be there as soon as he got hit with that head kick. And it was a nasty kick right in the chin. So great performance by Conor, man. And, it sets him up for a huge fight. And I'm curious to hear what you guys think is going to be next for him. So leave a comment and I'll answer them for sure. The odds come out for his next opponent. Masvidal is the favorite according to the betting odds. And you have Khabib. You got a couple other guys like Nate Diaz, Floyd Mayweather, Tony Ferguson. I think Pacquiao was in there. I'm probably forgetting someone, but I think it really does. And Kamaru Usman as well was in there. But I think it really comes down to either Masvidal or Khabib. Of course, Khabib has to beat Tony Ferguson in April, and that's no sure thing. He could easily lose that fight because Ferguson's an absolute monster. But, if I had to put money on it, guys, I think it's going to be Masvidal. I just think it makes too much sense, and I'm honestly a little surprised they didn't bring him in the ring, but I guess in the cage, I should say. But I think, Dana White said later on he wants Khabib to fight Conor next, so that's probably why they didn't bring Masvidal into the cage. But he had the BMF title there. He was being shown on the screen. He had front row seats. I just think it would have set up a massive fight. You have bringing Masvidal in, it would have pumped up everyone. So to me, it was kind of a wasted opportunity. But as we all know, Conor McGregor's fights sell either way. So, I do think McGregor and Masvidal is going to be the next fight for the BMF belt. It's going to be an amazing fight. They don't need to have a real title on the line for that fight. Like, the BMF belt is fine, even if they don't want to put that on the line. I just think it's a great fight. Honestly, I have no idea who I'm going to favor in that one, guys. I think that I saw something saying the sportsbooks would have opened Masvidal as a favorite if that was announced or if it's going to be announced. I don't know. I think Conor has a really good chance to win that fight. People forget how good Conor is. He's a really dangerous guy. He's got a lot of knockout power. Masvidal is more well-rounded, as we know, but Conor is extremely dangerous, guys. So I don't know. If they were to fight, I think, probably Masvidal would be favored just based on what I've been reading and also the fact that he has been a little bit more active and winning more, but don't count on McGregor if they do fight. I just think that's going to be the next fight, though. I know Dana wants Khabib. To me, it just doesn't make sense at this moment. And as far as next opponents, I also forgot Justin Gaethje's another guy, obviously, that could be out there as well. So, this was a huge win for Conor. He looked good in this fight, guys. Even if you don't like Conor, you have to admit he looked really good. And he looked good at this weight, too. Maybe this is the weight class for him. Who knows, right? He says he wants to stay at 170. It would be interesting to see him win a third title at a third different weight class. That'd be kind of crazy. One thing he did say that's wrong is he said he became the first guy to finish 3 different fights or win 3 different fights or finish 3. Jared Cannonier has already did that. He's won heavyweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight. So yes, Conor McGregor said that. Who did that? So Conor, guys, I mean, I don't know what to say. He looked amazing. And then for Cerrone, again, I just don't think he wanted to be there as soon as he got hit with that kick. And he still got his payday, so whatever, it is what it is. But 3 straight TKO losses for Donald Cerrone, and people are saying he's completely washed up. I don't know if that's true. I wouldn't say he's completely washed up at this point. I do think he's on a big decline, obviously, but look who he lost to. McGregor, Gaethje, and Ferguson. Like, washed up. Like, I don't agree with that at all. Like, look who he lost to. He lost to literally the 3 probably best fighters at light. Well, I guess Conor at lightweight, but still, he's amazing. Besides Khabib, like, those are 3 of the top 5 guys. And here's the other thing. Last time Cerrone was on a 3-fight losing streak, he lost to Masvidal while Till. Everyone thought he was done. He bounced back with a win over Medeiros, and then lost to Edwards, and then bounced back with 3 wins over Perry, Hernandez, and Iaquinta. So I don't think Cerrone's completely done yet. I do think he needs to step to be fighting guys more, 10 to 15 range, not in the top 5 at this point, because you look at who he's fought in the last few fights, it hasn't been very good for Donald Cerrone. He's been getting hurt. So 3 straight TKO losses. But, I don't think he's done. I don't think he's washed up. I just think he's been – and usually when you fight the best guys in the world, you lose. So, I just think it's kind of disappointing seeing some of the comments out there. Like, I don't follow politics, but I saw that Andrew Yang guy saying that he's washed up. That's not true, and that guy shouldn't be saying that. And also Stephen A. Smith called his performance atrocious. It was definitely – a guy is just a dumb comment. So, do I think he wanted to be in there after he got kicked in the face? No. I'm hit by his nail crash just like Cerrone. So, just a great performance by McGregor. I'm going to get to some questions now quickly. Maycee 30-27, 29-28, 30-27. This fight was boring as hell. I watched with my girlfriend that the women's fights would be kind of catered to the women's audience. She was bored to tears, and so was I. It was a terrible fight. Holly Holm is definitely not the same fighter she once was. She is getting up there in age as well. She's 38. She got the job done. Good for her. But, Raquel Pennington is not someone that I've never really thought was a great fighter. And she's lost 3. Like, does she have to get another couple wins to fight Nunez again? I'm going to see that fight. So, to me, this was a terrible decision to put this as a co-main event. It should have been Ferreira and Pettis. This was not the right co-main event for this card. Stupid co-main event, bad card placement by the UFC. It's their fault, really, and it was a terrible fight. Thankfully, the main event saved it. Next up, Alexei Oleinik defeats Maurice Green by submission, second round. Maurice Green, you got to give the guy some credit because he did tough out that first round with that scarf hold. But, man, this was kind of a dominant victory for Alexei Oleinik. Looked really good in the ground, as he always does. Got the submission in the second round. I did pick Green as a terrible pick on my part. I did okay picks. I think I went 7-4, so just okay. But this was the one pick I regret. Like, originally I was looking at the odds. I was like, man, Oleinik's the underdog. And I just started overthinking it. I took Green. I thought he could knock Oleinik out just based on Oleinik being chinny. But, Green's just not very good. And that's the truth. So as soon as he got taken down, I knew that was a bad pick. I was like, this is stupid of me. So it is what it is. Green, I think, he's going to be cut from the UFC now. He's just not very good. He's 3-2 in the UFC, but heavyweight's kind of shallow. But, man, this guy just is getting finished. Like, his last couple of fights hasn't looked good. Next up, another fight. I didn't expect this one to come, but I thought Ode Osborne would win for sure, and Brian Kelleher pulls off the first round guillotine. Great performance by Kelleher, and one I didn't see coming. One a lot of people didn't see coming. A lot of people had money on Ode Osborne. So, good for Brian Kelleher. He moves up 4-3 in the UFC, and this was a big upset in my mind. A guy that's 33 years old taking on a young prospect in his 20s who looked amazing on the Contender Series. But that's the clue, I guess. The Contender Series. A lot of guys from that show they haven't showed up in the UFC for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just step up in competition or the bright lights or what, but this guy didn't look like he was UFC caliber at all. He'll get another chance, obviously, but, for Kelleher to go and finish him in 2 minutes and 49 seconds, I think that says a lot about Osborne and where he really is in his development, more than Kelleher being like a super contender at this point. The guy's pretty good. He's definitely a decent fighter. He's a gatekeeper, but, I just was really disappointed with Osborne's performance here. I know a lot of people had money on him and they lost. Next up, Carlos Diego Ferreira defeats Anthony Pettis, second round submission with the rear naked choker, neck crank. You look great. Diego Ferreira, I loved him in this matchup, and The guy's on a 6-fight win streak now, 8-2 in the UFC, guys. Very good record. So he's a dangerous guy. I'm a big fan of this guy. I can't wait to see what's next for him. I think a top 10 opponent is in order for sure. If not top 5 opponent, I do think he's ready. Anyone in the top 10 who's not booked right now makes sense. I mean, Gaethje would be ideal, but that's not going to happen because he's going to wait for a title shot. So looking at the rankings, like there's not a ton of guys that are unavailable or available right now. It's unfortunate Edson Barboza is not going to be fighting in this division any longer because I think that was a good fight, but Barboza's moving featherweight apparently, so that's not going to happen. Just looking at the rankings, the only guy, like I said, is Gaethje right now in the top 10, and then you have to go a little bit lower to, I guess you have Iaquinta. That could be the fight next. You could do Iaquinta against Ferreira. That would be a good fight, and I think he does deserve that. Iaquinta's ranked number 9, so that would be the one fight. Just looking at the rankings, or Makhachev's at 15. That could be the fight as well. Either way, this guy is really good and deserves a step up to a top 10 opponent. Pettis was ranked number 11 in the division. All right, I got to get to this fight. Maycee Barber against Roxanne Modafferi, and I'll get a comment here. Consider we're doing. I loved UFC 246. Made a lot of easy money on it. Roxanne and parlay of William Coleman Connor. Good stuff, man. Told you, Adam. Roxanne would school that hyped up female can Maycee Barber 7 on betting. It's females like Angela Lee, Michelle Larson. Okay, lost a little bit. Hey, Martin, wasn't Maycee Barber supposed to win easily versus Roxanne Modafferi? We didn't say she would win easily though. So me and Cole, we both said don't bet on her. I did say I think she would win the fight, and I honestly wouldn't. If I had to change my pick, I wouldn't have because I just usually pick the younger fighter, and she's 20 compared to I think Roxy's 37, right? So I would have always picked Maycee to win this fight, but I said don't bet on her, guys. So anyone who put minus 1,000 in their parlay, I mean that's just never a good idea because this can happen. It's a dangerous thing, So yes, I did pick Barber, but I did say do not bet on her. So people that were betting on her made a mistake. And I even said if you want to throw a few bucks on Roxanne, that's not a bad idea. I didn't have the balls to do it. Some of you guys did, obviously. Great pick because she looked amazing. And I'm going to talk about this fight now. Roxanne looked incredible, guys. Like, she really did. Good for her. I'm happy for her. I mean, she's been around forever. She's a long-time veteran in the sport. At 37, though, there was no way in hell I was going to pick her against a 20-year-old. There's just no way. But she showed her experience once again was the difference. And it's another upset win for her. She had the win over Shevchenko last year. It was an upset. She had the win over Andrea Lee and Victor. That was an upset. So good for her, man. She looked great, guys. Maycee got dominated from bell to bell. This fight wasn't close. It wasn't even a close fight. It was just a complete beatdown. And she was one of the biggest underdogs in MMA history, in UFC history, in the top 10 of all time. That plus, I think, 650 she closed that. So, incredible win. But we got to talk about Barber. I mean, she looked terrible, and she got knocked down with a jab. She looks like she hurt her knee in the fight as well. She got absolutely dominated on the ground. Looked like her training with Ben Askren didn't do anything. And I just had a question here, or not a comment here from Kevin Scott. Why were people so up in arms on Maycee corner, not throwing the towel? Or same match when Santos competed for 4 rounds with a much worse injury against a much stronger opponent. Thiago Santos, I'm guessing you're saying, yeah. That the difference is Thiago Santos was in the fight, dude. This wasn't in the fight, and I agree. For me, and he's saying, is it because she's a woman? I don't understand double standard. No, it's not about that. She's a 20-year-old fighter, and she was getting absolutely beaten. There was no way she was coming back. She was down huge in the first 2 rounds, 2017 in the first 2 rounds on my scorecards, and she couldn't walk. So to me, the fight should have been stopped. Like the corner failed her. Duke Roufus, listen, he is a really good coach, and he's been around for a long time, guys. Look at the fight with Anthony Pettis. He stopped that fight, right? He threw in the towel when Anthony had his hand was broken. But there was a fight back in the day in I think it was, I can't remember if it was pro or amateur or kickboxing, but one of the fighters from Rufus Sport died. It might have been a kickboxer. I can't remember actually right now, but there was a guy that died. So Duke, he lets his fighters go on. I don't think it's always a good idea. Him and Ben Askren are experienced guys. They should have stopped this fight. The towel should have been thrown in. Here's the other thing, guys. The doctor went into the ring and said, her ACL has a partial tear, and they let her continue. It was really weird. Like, when has a doctor ever come in the octagon, looked at a fighter, diagnosed them, and said, "You've injured your knee. You can continue, though"? I'm sorry, but it was super weird. Like, and I know I'm not the only one who thought that. Like, when does the doctor ever do that? So to me, like, she was just failed all around. Again, they thought that she can come back, and she did have that, I think, American in the 3rd round, but, and that's the thing. That's the difference between MMA, like boxing and kickboxing. There's more ways to win. But to me, the towel should have been thrown in this fight because She's 21 years old, lived to fight another day. She took way more damage than she needed to. So her face was split open. She couldn't walk. She couldn't get up off the ground. To me, it was a completely different situation for Thiago Santos, where he was actually in the fight. And I thought he did beat John Jones even on one leg. So to me, it's a different situation, Kevin. It had nothing to do with her being a woman for me personally, maybe for other people. But I just thought she gained a fighter that should continue for an extra 5 minutes when they can't walk. She couldn't even stand up. It was sad to watch. Let me get some comments here. Let's see here. Real Doji, I could have told you 3 weeks ago Maycee's bad bet and Roxanne was way too young. Yeah, dude, I said the same thing. First off, I never recommend betting on minus 1,000 favorites. That's just never a good idea. Never, because if they lose, you're screwed. So to me, it was always a bad idea. Again, I didn't have the guts to bet on Roxy. I'm glad you did, man. At least someone made some bank. I saw a lot of people actually were betting on Roxy, which is good to see. Someone gave her $100 on fan, which is kind of cool. Vegas odds makers, mostly high school interns. If you see some of the huge underdogs they put a profit of, don't know about that. Andrew KGB Lee, this is Chris Ludford. KGB Lee and Antonio Shevchenko would beat Maycee Barber, by the way. Lee probably would. Shevchenko maybe, but I don't know. We'll see about that one. It'd be an interesting fight. Actually, I think both those fights are pretty good. And Kevin Scott makes sense. Feel like you aren't really worried about taking too much damage against Roxy. Look at her. She got her head cut open, dude. She couldn't even walk. Bro, she couldn't walk. Kevin, come on, man. It had nothing to do with her being a woman. With her with a knee injury, Maycee was going to lose. And that's the other thing. She was already getting dominated in this fight. Like, it wasn't even close. So, to me, actually, I was even saying throw a towel in before she couldn't walk. Guys, I think it was just a beatdown like that. Kevin Scott, orthopedic surgeon, uncle, says that it's impossible to diagnose a partial tear of the ligament with our MRIs. Who knows what the guy's talking about? I saw some people saying that. I'm not a journalist, so I have no idea really, but I have heard that saw some comments on Twitter from actual doctors saying like you can't diagnose that like right away, so you need an MRI, right? So I agree with you, Kevin, and your uncle. Rio Doju, Roxanne is my favorite female fighter. Hey, dude. Anytime you got plus 600, then I can see why she's your favorite. All right, let me keep going down the card here. Featherweight, Sodiq Yusuff against Andre Fili. Great fight. Sodiq Yusuff looked really good. A pretty close fight. I mean, I thought Yusuff won the first round. Some people actually gave Fili the first round. I don't agree with that, but he won the third round. But it was a good fight. Sodiq Yusuff's a very good fighter. He's 4-0 now in the UFC, 11-1 in his career. Dangerous. I'd like to see him get a step up in competition. He's a very good fighter. Next up, Askarov defeats Tim Elliott via unanimous decision. Another really good performance here by Askarov. Still undefeated. He did have that draw against Moreno in his last fight, but undefeated. And Tim Elliott, the guy is just a gatekeeper. I mean, this guy is just – I don't know what to say about Tim Elliott, man. He had his hands down in his waist, his chin in the air, and he was getting punched in the face, walking forward. I don't know what he was doing. Like, it was just stupid. Terrible performance by Tim Elliott. I respect the guy. He's been around a long time. And he's pretty tough, but I mean, I thought he was going to get knocked out in that first round. I was shocked, guys, and I'm sure you're the same way. He got punched so hard, it looked like he was out cold in his feet. All right, here's another upset. Another one I didn't see coming. I don't think a lot of you guys did either. Drew Dober defeating Nasser at hack press. Like, let's be honest here, guys. No one saw this one coming. This was crazy. Drew Dober is a gatekeeper, and he's a journeyman at this point, and he looked really good, and somehow he's won 5 of his last 6 fights. So, I still don't believe he's a true contender. Some people were saying he's banging on the top 15. I don't know about that, but this was a big win. I mean, Nasrat Hakparast was looking like a super prospect, and he gets absolutely knocked out in this fight. So Dober, man, good for him. He was a big underdog as well. Good for anyone who bet on him. And then going on to the early prelims here, we had Alexa Kemmer defeats Justin Ledet. Not a very good fight, but he gets the win. And then Sabino Mazo defeats J.J. Alder, split decision. Really close fight. I think Mazo won the fight 2-1. So should mention there was 5 bonuses awarded. McGregor, Ali, Nick Kelleher and Dober, so $50,000 each guy. Someone said that this was the first time in UFC history it's been 5 bonuses awarded in one night. That is incorrect. That's not true. UFC 217, there was 5 bonuses awarded in one night. Go back and take a look. You can look at Wikipedia. 5 guys got a bonus that night. It's true that one was split in half, 25K each, but it still was 5 guys getting the bonus. So that's not true. However, I hope that they start giving a 5 bonus on every card, guys. That'd be nice for the fighters, right? So that'd be pretty cool. But either way, I mean, these guys all deserved it. And the thing for me is, like, you gave McGregor the extra 50K. I'm glad they had 5 bonuses, because if they gave McGregor 50K extra and they didn't give it to, like, Drew Dober, that's just wrong, because Dober needs that money a lot more than Conor. Conor's getting paid millions. $50,000 is a tip for him. It's nothing. All right, let's get to some comments here. Chris Ludford, imagine Paige Van Zandt taking this bow against Barber and this happened. I mean, dude, I feel like maybe she should have, because she's going to fight Amanda Ribas next, and that's a tough fight. She actually probably is getting a tougher fight. Kevin Scott Ferreira via sub 620 plus 620 was my best bet in the card. Nice job, Kevin. Kevin Scott, Paige Razant would have been smashed against a one-legged Barber. And what else here? Chris Ledford. Molly McCann versus Maycee Barber, who wins? I don't know. Molly McCann is really tough, and she surprised me, man. She has looked good. I would still pick Barber, dude. I mean, I just got to pick the younger fighter. I always do, right? But at this point, I mean, she's gonna have to take some time off. I could see Maycee taking 6 months off. And here's the other thing. I forgot to talk about this. Why the hell did she take the mic from Joe Rogan? Why did Joe Rogan give her the mic? That pissed me off. I'm sure it pissed a lot of you guys off. The losing fighter should never get the mic first. You know, and I know that she had some nice things to say about Roxy. Joe Rogan screwed up. He should have been like, you can't, like, it's for Roxy. She won the fight. I know she said some nice things, but she also was making some excuses and about her leg and stuff. Like, no one wanted to hear her talk. To me, it didn't make sense. I saw Lauren Murphy, UFC fighter. She kind of went after Maycee and called her spoiled brat. Honestly, it was such a bad look for her. I didn't agree with it at all, personally. I got another question here. Sander, how do you feel about the upcoming Dos Santos Blades fight? I feel like getting 3-1 on Dos Santos there is good value. I didn't think the odds were that lopsided. I'm going to take a look right now. I am going to be breaking out this podcast tomorrow. So, yeah, JDS is plus 200, so he's not plus 300. But, yeah, interesting fight, man, for sure. I'm going to break it down with Cole tomorrow, so I really don't want to talk about it right now. I have to think about it a little bit more. I'm kind of agreeing with you, though, quickly, like early on, that the odds seem a little bit lopsided for Kurt Curtis, considering he has been knocked out a couple times. But I got to think about it a little bit more. I'll talk about it tomorrow, guys. And, yeah, Kevin Scott likes JDS too. I'm going to talk about tomorrow, guys. I don't want to spoil this one. So the only other thing I would mention is that video of Robbie from Barstool. You know, I don't know the guy, and he gets good access, and I don't want to hate on this guy too much because I don't know him personally, but the video of him on press row freaking out when Conor got the win is pretty terrible, in my opinion. And the reason is because we're told as media members to be impartial. And this guy it's not like he was in the crowd, guys. He wasn't sitting at home. He was on press row, openly cheering for McGregor. Awful. And I know a lot of people are laughing at it. I think it's great. It's not. It's just a bad look. Like, I know it's Barstool and they're not, super serious, but they were credentialed media members. To me, it was just a bad look. So I don't know if you guys saw that video. Just a couple other questions here, guys. I actually have a dentist appointment very soon, so I can only answer a few more questions before I get out of here. Chris Ledford, Montana Stuart De La Rosa, or Maycee Barber, who wins? That's a tough one too. Listen, dude, I still actually think Barber's not bad, but I got to think about it more, just because, again, with the injury, I mean, who knows how long she's going to be out for, and then a couple other guys like JDS as well. So that's cool. I do think JDS has a chance to win this fight for sure. I just got to think about it a bit more, and I don't want to give my pick out spoil tomorrow's show. So I will be back tomorrow. Actually, I'll be back later today because I was talking to Nick Kalikas, the big boss man at MMA Oddsbreaker and the host of UFC on the Line. And Nick wants to do an extra podcast today. So I'll probably be doing one later on this afternoon. I don't know what time yet. I got to see what Nick's schedule works out. He's in Vegas now, so our time difference is 3 hours. But we'll be doing one like later this afternoon or evening. And Nick will be doing the opening lines for Romero versus Adesanya and Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Weili Zhang. So that's going to be cool. So definitely, guys, check that out. The last time Nick came on, he did the Conor McGregor and Cerrone odds, and he opened McGregor. I think it was minus 265, minus 275, and people thought he was crazy. It looks like Nick was right about that one, so that wasn't even a close fight. And to be honest, there's probably value on Conor at that odds. But yeah, that's going to be it for this show. But again, I'll be back in a few hours, like later on this afternoon, to do the podcast with Nick. And then tomorrow, 2 podcasts again, 10 a.m., the normal podcast like this, and then 11 a.m., myself and Cole Sullivan breaking down UFC Raleigh. So, guys, I really appreciate the comments today. Like, I love having you guys in there, talking. Even if you disagree with me, it's totally cool because I just love talking about MMA. So, all you guys that jumped in the chat this morning, really, really appreciate it. And Kevin, feel free to send in email some questions if you have anybody, if you can't make tomorrow's show. So, guys, once again, thanks for tuning in. I got to head out of here right now, but I'll be back later on today. And thanks, buddy. Good luck at the dentist. I'm fine, man. I got no cavities. Just got to get cleaned up, for 2020. Guys, have a great day. Once again, thanks for tuning in. And I'll be back later on today with Nick Kalikas to give out the opening odds for UFC 248. Guys, have a great day. Have a good one. Bye.